Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is 11 Inning Stretch. My name is Alex Schneider, along with my good friend and co-host, as always.
My name is Paul Eppy. Alex, good to see you again.
It's good to see you too, bud. We're in the second week of college right now of my sophomore year, of your junior year, correct?
Technically, junior, but this is my second year in college, so sophomore, but I'm considered a junior. Anyway.
Nice. Does that mean you graduate? Does that mean you graduate next year?
I'm going to be graduating a year early. That's which is nice because I want to get out of here and find a good job.
So we're going to do the weekly podcast that we do on Wednesday nights, just kind of overviewing the league and what's happened. Big news here recently. Both of us currently right now have the Cardinal game on, and we're kind of watching Luke Weaver pitch actually a fairly good game right now. Only 30 pitches with 2 outs in the third. So that's not too bad.
He's been pitching well. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, he's been pitching, and Alex Reyes had a good last start as well.
You did?
But enough on the Cardinals.
Got one more on him this weekend.
Yes, he does. I hope so. And another thing, just real quick, since we're on Cardinal news, we'll give you a little bit more. Adam Wainwright last night pitched very well last night, and it was great to see that. Kind of went out with, looked like he had a little bit new demeanor to him, and pitched very well, very, very well last night. So just to dive right in real quick, just a couple quick things. Coco Crisp from the Athletics, the Cardinals just saw them not too long ago, and he was actually traded to the Indians. He has played once for the Indians already, and then went to Oakland, and now is playing for the Indians again.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm not a huge fan of the trade. I don't think, with all due respect to Coco Crisp and his career, he's had a solid career. He's been fine. But I don't think he has much value at age 36 anymore. He's 36, going on 37 here pretty soon. And on the season with Oakland, he's batting, 234 with 11 home runs and a 299 OBP. I mean, he has solid defense, and that's probably one of the big reasons they got him. He does have good defense. He's always been a good glove out there in center field, but I don't see him producing anything with a bat in his hands.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that it's anything to worry about. And like I said, I just kind of wanted to hit that real quick because obviously that happened. And real quick, since we are watching the Cardinal game, the guy that just stepped up to the plate, Jonathan VR, I kind of want to hit on him a little bit. So he's actually batting 297 with 11 home runs, 47 RBIs for the Brewers. And actually having a great offensive year for Jonathan VR. I mean, it's not Jose Altuve great, but
and not to mention he has 50 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So good offensive numbers, but what I want to talk about real quick is the defense.
As he gets a base hit right now.
Yeah, base hit, and that means a runner's probably going to go to third. Yep, Matt Garza's on his way to third. And Jonathan VR scoots to second base. As we just praised Weaver, that's when he's going to start sucking it up. Joe wanted to talk about the defense, like I said before, because I was watching the game last night, and I had texted Paul about this, but Jonathan VR actually has 25 errors by himself. The team has like 100 and something errors, and he has 25 of them. So he's got like a quarter of the team's errors by himself.
That's crazy when you think about it, is a quarter of their errors. It's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and when I heard that, I was like, wow, I was like, that's a little insane. I don't know if that's, I don't even know if the offensive numbers is worth the defense. But to be fair, he's playing with a below average team, very below average team. And so they probably really didn't care about that. But two, real quick, what I saw last night was a little bit different, and I think it kind of explains some of his errors. So last night, there was a play kind of in between the shortstop and third baseman.
As
Kurt Neuenhuis
Brewers
hits a homer. Wow. All right, so
that's why I don't want. Go ahead.
Now that I don't want to watch the Cardinal game anymore, Um, like I was saying, I saw a play last night that I think kind of explains some of his errors. Ball hit between third and short, and the third baseman probably could have gotten to it as he's running to the first base side, and Jonathan VR calls him off, takes the ground ball himself as he's going to the third base side, and throws, makes the play. He does get the out, but I kind of saw that in the thinking, I wonder if his errors are coming from balls that he's trying to like prove himself. So he's trying to get to balls that he shouldn't try to get to and making the play. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that or if
I didn't see the play specifically that you are talking about, but it could be the case. You know, he is trying to prove himself and he show what he can do because he hasn't been in this league for all that long. So that could be a case. But to be honest with you, I think he's just going to be one of those players that because of his offense, we're not going to talk about him with a glove in his hands. It's like sort of I don't know, just a more extreme version of like a Johnny Peralta. His fielding is fine. It's not great. But he's not there for his defense. He's there for his offense. That's probably what VR is going to end up being here down the road.
Okay, so then just another point real quick. I want to ask you another question. Do you think then that the errors, like the statistic of error, is that even worth talking about then?
That's a good question. I think it is, but it depends on what you want in a player. Gosh, I don't know. If you are trying to form like a defensively minded team and you're like the Royals, yeah, you probably want to pay attention to errors pretty closely. If you are the Cubs and you're trying to look at just guys who just smash the baseball, you probably won't look at it as much.
Yeah, that's just kind of what I was thinking about it. I don't think that the errors category is super important when it comes to teams like this.
It's not the be all end all, that's for sure.
Yeah, so I don't think that you should sign somebody. Oh, he has great offensive numbers and can steal 50 bags, but is going to commit 25 errors. I don't think that's okay. I just think that people, like what we were talking about, people overshadow the errors because he has 50 stolen bases and is hitting fairly well for the Brewers.
As I said coming into this series against the Brewers, he's basically a beefed up Billy Hamilton. You know, the big downside with Billy Hamilton is that, you know, he can't hit and he can't get on base. But if he does get on base, well, he's going to – I mean, you might as well put him on third base. And his defense is spectacular. Now, taking the defense out of it, VR can get on base. He can hit for some pretty decent power. When he does get on base, you still may as well put him on third. I do think that if Billy Hamilton could raise that OBP a little bit, he might steal 70 bases in a season. If he can get a 360 OBP, he might steal 65, 70 bases in a season. And VR could do the same.
Okay, I mean, that's all I wanted to talk about with that, just to kind of hit on it, because I saw that play last night, and I just kind of thought that maybe he's trying to prove himself a little bit more, and so his errors are coming from balls that he probably shouldn't try to throw or shouldn't even try to get to. Real quick, I just thought of another thing. Do you remember a couple years ago when Samardzija was on the Cubs and Matt Garza had already been dealt away, that he said to Samardzija, hey, pitch your way out of Chicago?
I don't remember him saying that, but now that you do say it, I can envision it.
Well, I just kind of was thinking about that, and I was like, you know, back then that makes sense. But since Matt Garza is still pitching, and he could be a good pitcher still on a better team, is it kind of funny that if he was on the Cubs right now, he would probably be singing a different tune?
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, Samardzija went to another contender with the Giants, so he's still okay. But Matt Garza is pitching who? Like, he's bad.
He's pitching for the Brewers, right? Exactly.
Yeah. Um,
That's sort of where the phrase comes in, or the phrase "winning cures all evils" comes in. It doesn't matter who you're playing for. If you win, then life's great. Back when a couple of years ago when the Cubs sucked, bad.
yeah,
It didn't matter. They playing for the Chicago Cubs at Wrigley Field in a big market. If your team sucks, you suck.
yeah. I just wanted to try and hit on that. That wasn't actually part of the programming tonight, but I was watching Matt Garza and kind of hit on that. One last thing before we get into one, maybe two big topics of tonight was the Yasiel Puig thing. He had been put on recoverable waivers, and that was it. I heard that, and then a day probably went by, and no news. And I think Yachty hit a dinger. He did. But he went on recoverable waivers and didn't hear nothing for like a day. And then all of a sudden it said he was picked up by a
unnamed team. Yeah.
Yeah. And then that kind of went for a day. And then yesterday I got a thing saying that the Dodgers aren't going to try and work out a trade with the mystery teams, and he has been recovered back.
I wonder if there's sort of like a mind game being played here, where like the Dodgers maybe just toss him out there and be like, "Hey, if you want Puig, come and bid for him," but they know he's not really going to get taken anyway. He'll get taken. He'll get taken, but they know they're not going to trade him unless they just get overwhelmed.
Yeah, my big thing though with that is, obviously, we've been kind of blessed with all the information that we get on a daily basis, with our smartphones and all this kind of stuff. I was really curious to find out who the mystery team was that tried to pick him up. I kind of had a guess with the Marlins because the Marlins are in need of an outfielder. He's already played.
And they just lost Ozuna, or he just exited tonight's game that I saw. So, yeah, I could see that.
And he's already played for Mattingly. Mattingly really didn't care for him in the clubhouse.
Who did?
But he did like him?
No, who did like him in the clubhouse?
Oh, okay. So I feel like it was the Marlins, but what I was going to say is out of that whole fiasco, I really didn't bother me if he gets traded or not, unless he goes to the Cardinals, which, God, I hope he doesn't. But I really wanted to know who the mystery team was in that. And I was just really shocked I never got to figure it out because nobody, I guess, everybody's keeping it kind of hush-hush close to the vest kind of thing.
I have a feeling we'll find out in the next day or two. Somebody will open their mouth. It always happens. I honestly, here's the sad part: is Yasiel Puig has some good tools. He came up and people said he was a 5-tool player. He had speed. His defense was good. His arm was good. He had a great power, and he had just great hitting in general. Great contact hitter. So they said he had a 5-tool. But I think that there's 6 tools when it comes to Major League Baseball, and that's being a team player, a good person in the clubhouse, and he fell way short in that category. And here's the thing is, he's an unbelievable talent, and most times I'm like, who did you go to? I hope it's the Cardinals. But the part that kind of confused me is I was more bummed out I didn't get to see who the secret team was, rather than I didn't give a shit that he got traded. Yeah.
I don't know if that's talking about where baseball is kind of heading now or what, but like I said, I was more bummed that I didn't get to know who the mystery team was, and I didn't care if we got traded.
I'm with you on the boat about Puig. I'm not gonna reverberate what you just said, but I just do have a feeling that we will find out who that team is in the next day or two. I mean, there's a lot of good guys who are good reporters like Ken Rosenthal, guys like that who just have sources everywhere. I have a feeling a guy like him will find out. and we will know. And it's probably a team that we're not expecting, to be honest with you. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the Mets or something like that.
Okay. I know there's a topic you wanted to talk about, so I'm gonna let you have the floor, kind of, on that.
I will. We can make this somewhat quick because one, I don't have too much, and two, we do want to get to your topic as well. But the thing I was wanting to talk about this week was the whole Diamondbacks fiasco. There's been a lot of speculation over the past 2-3 weeks or so about should the Diamondbacks get rid of Tony LaRussa. He holds a position in their front office. I don't know what his official title is, but he works with, he works with the GM and the scouts, and he evaluates talent, and he does have a pretty good say on the trades. But there's been talk about whether they should let him go because the Diamondbacks the past 2 seasons have been complete and utter failures. Alex, do you think they should rehaul that front office? Tony LaRussa included.
No. No. Here's okay. I will give you complete credit when talking about Tony LaRussa and the trades that he's made not working. The Dansby Swanson one.
That was a stupid trade.
That was a terrible trade. Shouldn't have been made. But I'll give you this real quick, and this is kind of why. Yeah, that trade was huge, and is going to be huge for as long as Dansby Swanson, I believe, plays, because Dansby Swanson is going to be a great player. But I feel like this other option outweighs that. It's not Tony LaRussa's fault that the players that are on the field right now aren't playing. That's not LaRussa's fault. That is, and it's not even really the manager's fault to an extent, but it's more of the manager's fault than it is LaRussa's fault. I feel like and a lot of people don't like putting blame, and Chris Carter, I think, just nope,
you got it.
I know a lot of people don't like putting blame on the manager because, the players have to go out there and play and all this kind of stuff. Because, and that show I was talking about the other day was Kevin Wheeler, and I'm going to talk about him again. A guy sent in a text message or a voicemail or something like that to the Kevin Wheeler show. And he said, they need to fire Matheny because the players don't go out with enough intensity. And Kevin Wheeler said, it's not Matheny's fault that the players don't want to play. Matheny can only manage. Yeah. And to an extent, I was like, you know what, you're kind of right. Because I've been defending Mike Matheny the whole season. But I think to an extent it is Mike Matheny's fault if the Cardinals don't play. He should fire them up. He should get them ready to play. If they're not ready to play, then you need to have an unscheduled practice and make sure everybody's there ready to go. But with the Diamondbacks thing, Tony LaRussa's fault that their team is royally bad. So, no, if you get rid of Tony LaRussa, some other team's going to pick him up, and you're going to understand what he's done for your club so far has been monumental, and you're going to miss that when you get somebody else. It's going to happen. That's why the Cardinals don't drop John Mozeliak, because even if the players he gets don't play, that's not his fault. Brandon Moss didn't play hardly at all last season for the Cardinals, and everybody was giving him shit. And then look what he's doing now. 25 home runs. He's having a typical Brandon Moss season. But the Cardinals are going to drop John Mozeliak, and the Diamondbacks shouldn't drop Tony LaRussa. I don't think that that's a fair assessment of the Diamondbacks right now.
I'm on the same boat as you, although it wouldn't surprise me if they do fire him, because when it comes down to it, we've discussed this a lot over the course of the season. It's a what have you done for me lately business. And Tony LaRussa and that GM have gotten absolutely nothing done. Whether you think it's their fault or the players' fault, which I am with you, it is the players' fault to a certain extent. But whether you think it is their fault or the players' fault, guess where the blame's going to go? It's going to go to the GM and to the manager and to the front office. I'm going to say it once again. It's a what have you done for me what have you done for me lately type of business. And, Tony LaRussa and the management have gotten some pretty decent players. They've had Paul Goldschmidt. They got A.J. Pollock. Jake Lamb's having a hell of a season. But when you look at it, the Zach Greinke and the Shelby Miller trades have failed. And I'm not going to have a knee-jerk reaction and say that they should fire him after one or two bad seasons. But they put a lot of expectations on themselves coming into this season, especially, and they haven't done crap.
Yeah, and they have the same problem the Cardinals do, but it's more serious. Their pitching is bad. They signed Zach Greinke to a huge deal, which I think is still going to work out for them in the long run. I really do. And then they traded, probably going to be here in the future, his kind of generation of ball players. They traded going to be the best shortstop in the league that's going to be there in a couple of years. And
yeah,
that's their own fault. Why you thought that trade would be okay is beyond me. I don't understand why you would think that. He was drafted first overall, which means that he's really good, and you traded him for a person that was left off the Cardinals playoff roster just a couple years before that.
And that was right after LaRussa left.
Yeah,
he was left off the roster.
Yeah, I don't understand. Well, I don't understand why you thought that would work out. I don't know. I have nothing else to say on that topic, but no, I don't think that they should get rid of Tony LaRussa, but they're probably going to, and he's going to go to a better team, or he's just going to retire.
If he goes to a better team, I think the Diamondbacks are going to kick themselves over it. I think they will fire him. I don't think they should, but they're in the business to make money, and I'm not sure that's what they think that their best course of action is. Anyway, Alex, you do have one topic that everybody has been talking about the past couple of weeks, really, in the baseball world, and so I will let you take it from there.
Okay. Yeah, like he said, this topic's been discussed by a lot of people for the past 2 or 3 weeks, but it actually took fruition just a couple days ago, and that is. Yeah, yesterday, and that is one of the great all-time college quarterbacks, Tim Tebow, at 29 years old, had a scout day. I don't know where it was held, but
it was in Los Angeles.
Okay, it held in Los Angeles, and he had a scout day to see what teams would give him an opportunity when it came down to playing Major League Baseball. I watched a video on it 3 or 4 times. I don't know if you've had a chance to watch any of the video.
I didn't watch any of the videos, but I read the articles.
Okay, so then I'll explain the video side, and then I'll let you take it over from the article side of it. I'm more of a motion picture kind of guy anyway. I'm lazy and fat and don't like reading. So, college is not a good pick for me if that's what you got out of that, yes. But from the video side, let me just break it down from kind of the 5 tools. We'll start with the fielding. The fielding was, let's just say if he actually plays in the major leagues for your team, if a pop fly is hit to him, you're going to get nervous. You're going to get sweaty.
So, Matt Holliday.
Yeah, kind of. You're going to get a little nervous. But the arm, on the other hand, he had a very good arm. Granted, he did throw footballs for a living that he didn't get a crow hop with. So the arm was very nice. His speed was, from what scouts are telling me, was okay. It wasn't super great, but it was good. And the hitting tool, from what I can tell, the best thing he had was the best 2 attributes he had was power and speed, and the power definitely showed when he was hitting. I think they said he hit a 430-foot bomb to right field. But the contact part of it was a little shaky too, because he faced live pitching at the pro day, and the changeup ate him up, apparently. Obviously, I can tell you that, you missed 10 years of baseball, you're not going to be real good. But after you tell us about the article side of it, if there's anything else to talk about with that, I kind of want to get your opinion on, do you think that he gets a chance?
I'm not gonna add anything new to what you just said, because I'd be lying if I literally read word for word what you just said. So I mean, they were, from the couple reporters that were there, they weren't like overly impressed. They were just kind of like, yeah, I mean, he was fine, but it's not like he was that good. But my opinion on him, I mean, it's fun to watch. It's entertaining. I don't think he's gonna get a shot. If he does get a shot, it's gonna be from a really bad team that just want to make some money and put some butts in the seats. I could see him signing like a lower minor league contract, because they like to do all this promotional stuff. I don't see him playing in a big league game. They'll be fun to watch, and I kind of wish he would, but I don't see it.
Well, that's kind of what I meant by giving him a chance. Here's kind of what I meant. I think that a team will sign him. I think 100% somebody will sign him. But to your point, I don't think that he will play a game in the major leagues. But
especially in the month of September, when so many teams are playing meaningful baseball.
Yeah, I do think that he will get signed. I think that there's a 100% chance, and some team will take a risk on him. But just think of the big picture. If you take a risk on Tim Tebow, and let's say he comes out at 31 and can play, let's say just for some odd reason, because he's big into into the big man upstairs. Let's say that Jesus bless him with unbelievable skills, and he just trains his butt off, and he gets to a point where he can actually play a solid Major League Baseball. Not great, not good, but average. But just think, if you're the team that signs Tim Tebow and he plays 9-10 years in the major leagues and is actually okay, like better than some of your other options that you have.
Think of how much money you can make on that.
Dude, like, for real, that brings, like, how teams do, like, different, like, bring your dog to the park night or whatever. You could literally have Florida Gator night because Tim Tebow is in your seats. Yeah,
and you'd make a lot of money selling Tebow jerseys, and you put a lot of butts in the seats at the ballpark.
Exactly.
But that's all I think it would be, honestly.
I'll tell you what. I think, he missed 10 years of baseball, but he didn't miss 10 years of training and conditioning. Yeah, hitting Major League Baseball is a little bit different than throwing a football at a moving target. A tad bit different.
I want to see him face Aroldis Chapman and see if he can hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball. That's how I'm going to judge him, to be honest with you. Put him up against the best of the best.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just think about a team who signs him, and let's say he does get into the major leagues. Think about, like, whatever GM that is going to go down as probably one of the best in baseball if he comes out actually doing well, or the scout that did it.
And it's funny you say that, because if somebody say, I don't know, say the Chicago White Sox take a bid on him. They had Michael Jordan, big difference. They had Michael Jordan play for the White Sox in the Double-A farm system. Maybe they want to go take a shot on Tim Tebow. Okay. If you're the GM, how can that signing possibly go wrong for you? Because he's not expected to perform anyway. The only place he can go is up. So if he does anything, if he appears in any games, you automatically win, because you're going to be making a whole lot of money.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's no way that you can almost lose in this, except he takes a roster spot in your Double-A, which I feel like certain teams would totally be okay with that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think that he will get signed. I don't think that he will play inning in the majors. And if he does, congrats to him. I like Tim Tebow and always have and always will. And I love to see other athletes who, I failed at this one. Let's go to another one and try this out. It almost, gives you a whole no-quit attitude, which tells me he wants to play a sport at a advanced level, willing to almost do anything it takes to do that. And is okay with he played football for a number of years, played in the NFL for 3 seasons, so he knows failure. He won't have that whole thing that rookies usually do that don't understand failure.
The thing about this for me, and it's just sort of weird to think about, is the fact that he hasn't played baseball since like the junior year of high school, like 10 years or whatever you said. That'd be like, I did track in high school. I did some running and I did mainly pole vaulting. It'd be like me going back to the United States Olympic Committee here in 6 or 8 years, being like, oh, hey, I can pole vault now. I haven't pole vaulted in 10 years, but here I am. I'm here for a tryout. It just doesn't work that way.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, I think that he gets a chance. I
think he gets a chance for sure.
I would love to sit here and tell you one way or another, like he's going to get a chance, or like he's going to play games, or he's not going to play games. I really don't know. The consensus around baseball is that he's not going to play major leagues, except for Greg. Is it Greg Amsinger? I think said that he's going to play. He's going to play in the majors, but other than that, I wish him the best of luck, and I'd love to see where he goes from here.
Oh, I for sure hope he plays, and I think he will, and I don't think we've heard the last of him yet. I hope not, because it'd be so much fun to watch.
No, because I think if he doesn't do good in baseball, he's going to go to golf or something.
Or hockey or something. I mean, the guy's huge. He can go to hockey.
He's going to be a linebacker in football. He's going back to football.
I do think he does get a shot. I hope he gets a shot. We'll see. That's all I have for you, Alex. Do you have anything else?
No, I mean, not really. I really would like to get one of these Eddie Goodell bobbleheads, though.
I know, yeah. Those promotions look awesome.
Looks pretty sweet. They really do. Pretty sweet.
Anyway, we will, at the risk of prolonging this podcast anymore, we will stop calling the Cardinals game as we do a show. So that will be it for us from the 11th inning stretch. My name is Paul Epi. Alex, it is good to do this with you once again.
I'm calling a Jerko homer right now. Just saying.
Oh, you want to call the game now? All right. Well, take the place of Dan. We will see you on, I guess it is Sunday. Sunday for the next podcast and Friday for the next preview. But until then, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.